Welcome into Game Night here on the Paladin Network. I'm Campbell Smith, and I'm joined here by Chris Adele. How you doing, Chris?
Great, Campbell. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Tonight, we're going to talk about fan debauchery at NFL games, and also we'll talk about should alcoholic beverages be sold at NCAA football games. So tonight, let's start with the fan debauchery. Chris, recently, at the most recent game, Kansas City versus the Patriots, there was a fan, a lone Patriots fan. Obviously, you saw the outcome of the game. They were being destroyed. So a bunch of Kansas City fans decided to be pretty inappropriate and offensive towards the Patriots fan by, well, I think you've seen the video, but for the people, our audience here who haven't seen the video, he decided to thrust his private parts contained in his trousers towards the Patriot fan's face. What do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that kind of behavior is grossly inappropriate and unwanted at such an environment. But I also think that's kind of an isolated incident. Kansas City, the fans are trying to break the Guinness World Record for loudest stadium last night, Monday night, which they did do. I think they're really hype. It's the Patriots. I think every time a team like the Patriots come to town, all the fans are just going to be extremely hyped. So I think that's slightly isolated. Like, yes, you probably see that more than you would want, but isolated incident. I don't think there's anything to really worry about. But, I mean, obviously, that's ridiculous. No one wants to see that. Absolutely. And if I pay, if I pay $90 to $200 on a ticket at an NFL game, I want my space to be respected, and I don't want people to be going crazy at me. But it's a football game. You know what you're getting into. If you're a grown man, like, you can handle yourself. But obviously, things like that, probably don't want to see that.
Absolutely, I agree with you. It is a football game. You're right. Stuff like that happens. Fans, speaking of alcohol, can get a little rowdy, and well, you saw it on that video. But also, another recent event was the 49ers versus the Cardinals game. Did you see the brawl that broke out in those stands?
Yeah, no, I mean, that was absolutely incredible. Alcohol can make you do really stupid things, and especially when you get really hyped about your team. I know people get way too into sports sometimes, and that's just uncalled for and not what we want at what's supposed to be a fun event for potentially supposed to be for all ages. Like, football is something that you bring the kids to, bring, the grandparents, whoever wants to come, and that's really not the behavior that you want in front of that.
Yeah, if let's say I brought my family to that game and I saw that, I wouldn't know how to react, and I would feel, I'd have to give a talk to my kids if they were younger and be like, that's not how you act, especially in public. But let's move on to the NCAA football games, and should they be selling alcoholic beverages? Personally, as a freshman in college, I'm obviously underage, so my input is going to be much different than yours. I think they should. Obviously, they'll card you, because if you think about it, what a lot of schools are saying who do sell alcoholic beverages at their games, it prevents people coming into the game who have already had a few drinks, maybe a few too many drinks at a tailgate or whatever they have, a pregame, and come in smashed. Instead, now they can, they'll ID you, make sure you're of legal age, and you can have a few drinks. What do you think about this?
I see the merit in what you're talking about as far as people like, oh, there's no alcohol in the game, they're going to check my person, so I need to get drunk now before going in. Like, I understand that many people have that opinion. But I think if you're selling alcohol in the games, look at your student body. 75, maybe like 65% of your student body will be underage, because most freshmen, sophomores, and then probably half of the juniors during football season are not 21. So you're really catering to older fans and then your seniors. And honestly, I don't know. There are going to be ways that underage people find alcohol in the stadium, and that's going to be a huge legal mess that schools don't want. I understand how they want to make money off of alcohol sales, but I don't know if that money's worth any legal issues from an incredible amount of underage people being given alcohol. Like the university now, if something happens with a student that's drunk at a game, they're like, we don't sell alcohol. That's not us.
Right.
That's not our fault. Like obviously,
Not the right
campus
way.
police tries to stop that at tailgating, but when you have an 80,000 seat stadium, it's hard to keep watch of all the underage students, obviously. But if you're selling that alcohol during the game, you have no defense. It's like, well, you were selling alcohol. Like, was it you?
Right.
And I don't know. Like, as a 21-year-old, I think it would be nice, as you mentioned, like, if you want to drink before, you don't have to drink a lot, and then you can just ease into the game and then drink some during. That's fine. But I think there's problems with legal issues and also just the sheer amount of underage drinking that would go on during the game. I don't think that's something universities are going to want to deal with. And I think that's why it hasn't happened yet, honestly.
I will agree with you on that one. That is a good point. The legal issues would not help a university's credibility. So that's definitely a controversial topic that'll probably be talked about and on the news for a while. But that's all the time we have tonight for Game Night. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.